Welcome back to the channel. My name is Angel, and in today's video we're going to be talking about whether or not college is worth it. Alright, let's get into the video. Alright, so why do most of us go to college? For most of us, it's because that's what our friends are doing. It's what's expected of us. It's something that most people think is required to live that American dream. And what is that American dream? Getting that job. And what is that job tied to? That income. So most importantly, tied to that job is that degree that you go for in college. So depending on the type of degree you get, really ties into the salary you're going to make once you graduate. So in the US, there are two types of degrees you typically get, either a liberal arts degree or a STEM degree. So what is a liberal arts degree? A liberal arts degree usually is something in the humanities, like a sociology, anthropology, philosophy, or political science, etc. Or a STEM degree, which is typically a hard science such as bio, chemistry, physics, engineering, technology, mathematics. And so depending on what you choose really correlates with the probability of one, you making a high income, and two, you actually making the income that you Googled when you were doing your research. So for example, if you studied anthropology and you saw that the average anthropologist makes $65,000 a year, obviously I'm making that up, what are the odds that you're actually going to find a job in that given field making that money versus someone who studied mechanical engineering and is predicted or projected to make $85,000 a year? That is a much more concrete, much more rigid structure, and you probably have a higher possibility of making that income if you go into the engineering route. And why is that? Because liberal arts degrees typically are very creative. There's not a set rule base on how to solve those problems and how to approach that career. Versus a mechanical engineer, everything's very structured, usually go through a lot of committees, certifications, strict math requirements. Things are very ordered versus the liberal arts, which is very creative, chaotic, and spontaneous. And obviously, the career choices you make typically align with the personality. And with that being said, with that career choice and with that salary, the potential salary you're going to make is tied to the amount of debt you're going to take on. And the reason why we go through all this risk is because the assumption that college graduates make more than non-college graduates. So you read a lot of those studies that say, the average college graduate makes $1 million more in the lifetime versus a non-college graduate. And it's important to take a critical eye to those research studies, because typically the people that are funding it either are directly tied to the college experience or basically business. Either it's funded by a college itself or by a government entity that is involved in the whole college process. So it's important to take a look at that from a skeptic eye. So that being said, have you done your research? Have you picked your degree? Have you picked your degree? Have you picked your career path? Have you picked the right school? Private versus public. Private being a lot more expensive, public being maybe a little less expensive, depending on whether or not you decide to go in-state or out-of-state. And this is these are very important decisions, because remember, the debt is guaranteed, but the degree is not. And for most of us, we don't have scholarships that cover the entire cost of going to school. Most of us end up either paying out of pocket or taking on those subsidized and unsubsidized student loans. And all that being said, most people compare the United States to the Europe and saying, hey, look, why don't we subsidize, college, make it free or, significantly less expensive. But in reality, if you look at the US, things have dramatically changed since, I want to say, like the early 1980s to today. Before 50 years ago, most people didn't matriculate into college. In comparison to, let's say, Europe, let's compare the most productive country in the European Union, that being Germany, having the highest gross domestic product out of all of the countries in the EU. They don't have that high matriculation rate. And in fact, they don't try to push college on students. The reality would be better off if they went to a trade school or studied another profession or just did an apprenticeship. All that being said, some of you making this decision may already have a viable career option. Say you went to a trade school or you have a family business that you could operate or that you're interested in operating. And these are important things to take into consideration. For example, let's say you did go to a trade school, you became a licensed plumber, and right now you're only working for yourself, or you only have yourself in your company, employed in your company, and you're making around $50,000 a year. But let's say you scale up your business, and let's say you hire 1 or 2 more people, adding 1 or 2 more vans to your business. Therefore, doubling or tripling your income, going from $50,000 to $150,000. Or if you have a small business and right now you're probably taking home from your family restaurant maybe $60,000 a year, but you don't have adequate SEO, or you're not doing any online marketing, you don't do any online deliveries, but there are potential avenues to double or triple your income without taking the huge risk of those huge amount of student loans. Life is complicated, and this video is by no means supposed to be a one-size-fits-all prescription based do X and you'll get Y salary, or do X and you'll live this lifestyle. It's meant to be a catalyst to get you thinking about the right questions to ask to help you make the right decision for you. And that being said, it's time to wrap up the video. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that bell notification so you get notified every time I post a new video, and leave a comment down below. Did you get a degree that you regret? Did you get a degree that you didn't regret, that you're doing amazing? Did you decide not to go to college and pursue a trade, and are you successful in it? And if anything, share this video with someone that you think might benefit from it. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. I'll see you on the next one.